The Zinthri Empire had ruled the galaxy for 12,000 cycles, their crystalline warships casting shadows over 100 conquered worlds. When their scouts first detected Earth, they cataloged it as they had countless others, primitive, defenseless, ripe for harvest. Commander Vexither transmitted the proclamation himself, his mandibles clicking with satisfaction as the message burned across human communication networks. By decree of the Eternal Throne, your species is hereby classified as servitor-class organisms. Surrender will be met with swift processing. Resistance will be met with extinction. He expected panic, perhaps a few scattered military responses that would be crushed beneath the Empire's might. What he got was silence. David Chen stood in the Situation Room beneath the Rocky Mountains, his hands pressed flat against the tactical display. 20 years in the Marine Corps had prepared him for war, but this was different. Around him, the Joint Chiefs waited, their faces carved from stone. "They think we're cattle," David said quietly, his voice steady despite the rage coiling in his chest. "They came to our home and declared our children property." General Morrison nodded. "The President wants options." David looked up, his dark eyes hard. "There's only one option, sir. We show them what happens when you threaten Earth, across the planet." Humanity mobilized with a precision that would have terrified the Zinthri, had they been paying attention. But they weren't. They were too busy celebrating their latest conquest, already dividing up Earth's resources in their throne world's gilded halls. Aliana Reeves worked through the night in the quantum physics lab at MIT, her fingers flying across holographic interfaces. She'd been weeks away from defending her dissertation on weaponized wormhole mechanics when the aliens arrived. Now, her theoretical research had become humanity's sword. "The calculations check out," she told the assembled team, exhaustion making her voice hoarse. "We can generate stable tunnels directly into their ships. The power requirements are insane, but if we pull from the entire North American grid, do it." Came the order from Washington. Aliana allowed herself a cold smile. They wanted to see what humans are capable of. "Let's educate them." The Zinthri First Fleet arrived at Earth 30 days after the proclamation, expecting broken resistance or perhaps none at all. What they found were silent cities, darkened continents, and a species that had vanished from their sensors. "Where are they?" Vexither hissed, his confusion turning to unease. The answer came in fire. Across the fleet, wormholes erupted inside ship after ship, not large ones, precision strikes, each one delivering a payload of thermonuclear fury directly into reactor cores. David watched from orbit, standing in the command deck of the retrofitted space station they'd named Defiance. Humanity had put satellites in space. The Zinthri had assumed they couldn't weaponize that capability. They assumed wrong. "Target fleet composition is down by 40%, the tactical officer reported. "Enemy vessels attempting to retreat. Don't let them," David ordered. "Not one ship escapes. When the Empire asks what happened here, they'll find nothing but wreckage and a message." Aliyana's voice crackled over the comm. "Second wave portals opening. We're pushing the grid to the limit, but we can maintain fire for another 7 minutes. 7 minutes was all they needed." The Zinthri had shields that could withstand meteor impacts, armor that could shrug off conventional weapons, and energy cannons that could glass continents. But they'd never faced an enemy that could strike from inside their own vessels, bypassing every defense, turning their greatest strengths into tombs of metal and crystal. When the Imperial Court received word that their first fleet had been destroyed, they dismissed it as impossible. When the second fleet vanished 3 weeks later, they began to understand. When the third fleet led by the Emperor's own son was found drifting in pieces around Earth's moon, they finally grasped the magnitude of their error. Humanity hadn't just defended itself. It had gone on the offensive. David led the strike teams personally, hitting Zinthri outposts across 3 sectors. They moved like ghosts, appearing through quantum tunnels, destroying military installations, and vanishing before reinforcements could arrive. Each target was chosen carefully: supply depots, communication relays, the infrastructure of Empire. "We're not conquering them," David explained during a strategy session with allied human forces. "We're teaching them fear. Every world they've enslaved is watching. Every species under their boot needs to see that the Zinthri can bleed." Aliana pushed the technology further. refining the portal mechanics until they could open gateways across light years in seconds. Human strike craft began appearing over Zinthri worlds without warning, not to invade, but to demonstrate capability, to show that nowhere was safe, that Earth's reach extended as far as its wrath. The enslaved species of the galaxy watched in awe as the newest rivals on the galactic stage systematically dismantled an empire that had stood for millennia. The Zinthri, who had thought themselves apex predators, discovered they were merely the latest to underestimate human determination. 6 months after the proclamation, the Zinthri Empire requested negotiations. David stood across from what remained of their high command in a neutral station, his marine dress uniform immaculate, his expression carved from ice. Aliana stood beside him, representing Earth's scientific community, her presence a reminder of the minds that had engineered their downfall. "We miscalculated," the Zinthri ambassador managed, his translator struggling with the concept of their admission. "We seek peace. You sought slaves," David replied. "You proclaimed our children property. You came to our home with chains. We acknowledge our error. What are your terms?" David leaned forward. "Complete withdrawal from all conquered territories, reparations to every species you've enslaved, and a new law transmitted to every corner of this galaxy. Earth is forbidden territory. Humanity is off limits, forever, and if we refuse..." Aliana spoke for the first time, her voice soft but carrying the weight of neutron stars. "Then we'll continue doing what we've been doing. Your empire spans 100 worlds. We only need to destroy one your throne world, and we can do it from our living rooms while drinking coffee." The Zinthri signed the treaty within the hour. As David and Aliana traveled back to Earth, they stood together watching their blue world grow larger in the viewport. They'd saved humanity, but both knew the cost. Earth had revealed itself to the galaxy not as victims, but as warriors. That reputation would follow them for generations. "Do you think we did the right thing?" Aliana asked quietly. David considered the question, then nodded. "They came to enslave us. We showed them why that was their last mistake. Every child on Earth will grow up free because of what we did, and every species in the galaxy will fear us." "Good," David said simply. "Fear keeps us safe. Respect keeps us free. They'll learn the difference." Earth had spoken, and the galaxy had listened.